Hey guys, so it's really early in the morning. I had the itching to start reading my November TBRs. Starting off, I know for a fact for night watching, I can either do the physical copy or I can do the audio copy because I know that the library has this version and the ebook version. So I definitely have my choice. This one's gonna be put to the side because I know that I can have multiple ones for that one. This one I'm going to be reading the physical copy of just because I don't really want to read the ebook version of this. And if there's multiple stories in here, I'll probably just read a couple and put it down. But if I read them all, cool. This one I have to do a little research on for the Sisters Under the Rising Sun. I don't know if they're going to have either the audio or the ebook version for this. So I may have to read the physical copy of this one. This is one. Charlotte, come here. That's what I'm going to have to look into. This one may be on Kindle Unlimited. I can look and see. But I don't mind reading the physical copy. Like I said, that's not attractive to me, so it's not distracting. This one, I'm going to have to read the physical copy of because I'm pretty sure there's going to be either an audio or an ebook version. It's worth a look, but I'd rather just read the physical one of that one. This one, I am pretty sure I can get the audio because I have seen it on Audible before, so I do know that they have this, and they may have it in my library as well. I gotta double check, but this just seems. I've read all three of them physically. I haven't read any of the audio. I do wonder if it's gonna be explained differently. Kind of like how it was in the movie where it's verbally explained to you. I wonder if that's going to be better for the audio. So I went through everything that I have. I went back and double checked what I can read it on, what I can't. So Taking a Risk is on Kindle Unlimited, so I'm going to read it on there. I just re-downloaded Night Watching on my library audio so I can listen to that while I work. I'm excited about that. I didn't find Sisters Under the Rising Sun on either my Kindle or any of the libraries. So both of these, either I'm going to read the physical copies of or I'm going to have to get them from my Audible. I'm trying to save my Audible credits. So the one I feel like I should start with, Night Watching, I'm going to wait until I go back to work tomorrow, at least. I'm probably going to start with either the Taking a Risk or Aladdin because they're one of the shortest. To be honest, I just did finish reading Phantasma, so I got a lot of spice recently, so I may take a pause and read this one a little later. This may be one of the last ones I read. That's just probably how I'll end my good notes. My animals are driving me insane right now. So I guess I will start with Aladdin and see how many other stories in here. Actually, I'm just going to take a look real quick and see how many. This is going to be cool because they have the illustrations in here. I mean, you can see that. They're really nice, and it's the gold edges. It's a very nice copy of Aladdin and the Arabian Nights. A lot of stories in here too. Like, I'm flipping through. Yeah, we just started with the first one, and it's 6 pages long. So I may read a couple of the stories in here and read the Aladdin story, because that's the one I've been intrigued about the most. So it's either that or I'll just fly through the whole thing. We'll see. But I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to relax and change out of this hoodie because it's not cold anymore. Hey guys, I just changed out of my hoodie and I was just about to start putting some books away and getting started on Aladdin. And I grabbed my phone to play my Spotify, and it just dawned on me. I have been completely forgetting about my Spotify. I have access to all the books that I want to listen to on Spotify. I completely forgot because I have the premium. So I guess with the other two, I do get to read them because I get at least one book. So I'll have to decide which one I want to read with, but I completely forgot. couple of these I could have read on my Spotify and made it go so much faster. I completely forgot. Anyway, I'm gonna go try and put my books away that I did for the videos. That's gonna be fun fitting them all in. Okay, so I started up night watching this one on my lunchtime, and damn. So immediately going into this, they don't set the scene. They just have you in the middle of the scene. And right now what's going on, Nick just called me, hang on. So it literally sets the scene for everything. You're in the middle of like a suspenseful scene, and that's how it starts. Like, I'm only chapter 9 right now, and like it'll do bits and pieces here and there, but it threw you right into the scenario. There was no waiting, like at all. So that's a first. And it wasn't like you're confused either, because she did bits and pieces to get you to understand what's going on. I'm really loving this, and I'm actually really excited to go to work tomorrow so that I can listen to the rest of this like all day, because it's about a 10-hour long book and I've done 3 hours so far, so I may be able to finish it tomorrow. We'll see. But I'm loving this. This is definitely a suspenseful like scenario. Nothing worse than imagining someone in your house when you got kids and no husband. It's scary. Like really scary. Hey guys, so yesterday I read about 3 hours of the book, and by the afternoon I had gone through almost 7 hours. So I have about 3 hours left today. It's crazy. This book, Night Watching, is really, really crazy. I'm finally at a part where I'm finally at the part. I'm not gonna try and spoil anything because that's rude. They go through everything, and when they're talking to the police about everything that happened, nothing bugs me more than police who won't believe you. They question everything else first, don't give you any reassurance whatsoever. Like, we believe you, but it's not making sense. Not like explaining themselves. They're just very blunt in what they do, which I think doesn't help in these kind of scenarios, because then people explode on them. People do rational things. And I'm even cringing. I'm even mad that they don't believe her right now. Oh. But yeah, this is, when the police got called and everything, it was only in the middle of the book. I'm like, we still got half the book left. What else is gonna happen? I'm going through it. I'm gonna try and finish the rest of the book today. Hopefully I'll finish it by my lunchtime. That would be nice. That way I can start a new one and start listening to that as I work. I did find out that I can listen to Vampire Diaries on my Spotify, so I'm gonna do that also. Oh, it's so crazy. Her writing's a lot like Sherry LaPena's, so it's really enjoyable for me listening to this and having all the suspense. It reminds me of the suspense I have reading her books, which kind of explains why she liked it and why she wrote a review like that good about it. It's because it's a lot like her writing. It reminds me a lot of The Couple Next Door. There's a lot of other things going on in that one, but the writing style and, the female perspective of everything is very similar, which I do like. So she may end up being a favorite author of mine. I need to look into hers and see if she's written any more, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So we'll see if I can finish it. Okay, so I just finished night watching. I have 2 words for the last 3 chapters. Hell no. Okay, the last 3, like the whole story already was suspenseful, especially in the beginning because it just threw you right into it. After everything was done and it calmed down a little bit, it really didn't calm down for me because then it just made me angry because I didn't know which way I was supposed to be leaning. I didn't know if she was. I didn't know if she was telling the truth, and that's kind of what we get going through all of this, is because we don't know. And it made me so angry just how the cops were acting, because a lot of the times they do act like, well, you just did it. It's obvious. Well, sometimes it's not obvious. And this is a good representation of what's not obvious. The whole thing was baffling and scared the crap out of me. Because one of my worst fears is home invasion. I got scared. The last 3 chapters, I was literally like listening to my book because I was so scared. But overall, she writes like Sherry LaPena. She tells a really good story. And just, I feel so exhausted right now because this had me on my toes for so long. Me getting angry and getting anxious and getting anxiety with just everything that was going on. I'm tired. And I need something calm after that. Overall though, like, that was a 5-star for me. 100% a 5-star. There is no denying that. From all the emotions that I got, the story was awesome. It makes you question everything of what's going on. And not only that, but the characters were set up beautifully. The house was set up beautifully. I absolutely loved it. And it's been a long time since I've loved a thriller like that. That is definitely 100% horror thriller. Like, I'm good. So I'm gonna pick another one and we're gonna move on. Alright, since we finished night watching, the next one I'm gonna move on to, since I still have a little bit left in the week. The next one we're gonna start with is Vampire Diaries. So I have the first and the second one off of Spotify, which is awesome. They're the only ones who have anything remotely dealing with Vampire Diaries. I've seen the series. I've got to like season 6 of the series. So I kind of know what's supposed to happen. And I remember reading this before I'd ever watched the series. But I don't remember anything, if it was accurate, if it wasn't accurate. Looking at this now is going to be a whole different experience than when I tried reading it the first time. We shall see. I'm going to read the first one starting in like a few minutes. And we shall see if it's worth the hype or if I just need to stop. Okay, so I am 2.5 chapters in at the moment. And I'm going to stop. Not only did I remember why I only read the first book and not the second one paired with it, but I also remember why I loved the series, the TV series, more. One, they changed up some of the character appearances. Elena was supposed to be blonde, Stefan was supposed to have wavy hair, and there was supposed to be a whole nother girl in their group called Meredith. I kind of like the TV version better on that. Number 2, the banter between some of the girls just made me cringe, and I literally felt my face go like, ew. So I couldn't handle that. 3, I am DNFing it and not reading the rest of the series because of one sentence that made me realize that I hated the book Elena. I already didn't like Elena in the series Vampire Diaries on TV, but I hate her now even more, the book. From one sentence, when Stefan is checking in and doing his little beginning thing, and he sired the other lady, and he convinced the other lady that everything's fine, and he went to go leave, and he did nothing. Apparently, this Elena is very full of herself, and wants guys' attention, even though she's like, why can't everybody leave me alone? But at the same time, you bitch at somebody who doesn't stop to talk to you or check you out or catcall you? That's where it lost me. And I remember reading that the first time. And I think that was why I DNF'd the rest of the series. I read the first book the first time. But now I remember why I didn't read the rest of them. That sentence just threw me off, and I'm like, I don't want to read this. I don't like it. I don't like the book series, and it's unfortunately written by a guy, and I don't think he understands how girls think sometimes. But that's okay, because obviously the TV series did a whole lot better than the books, and for those of you who read the books, I am probably going to get hell for this, but it's okay, because we're done. We're stopping at the first one. I'm not even going to continue with the rest of the series. We're done. I'm going to move on to the next one. Hey guys, so yesterday was Saturday. I spent most of the day with my husband. It's still weird to say that. That's going to take some getting used to. But, so yeah, we spent most of the day together yesterday. We went, had a really good lunch that our apartment threw for Thanksgiving. It was really, really awesome. And then pretty much from 4 o'clock, I think all the way up till 9 o'clock, I was reading Aladdin. I didn't even get to the Aladdin story until like 180 pages in to this. All the rest of them were like Alibaba and the 40 Thieves and a couple other big named Arabian Night stories. They're told very, I'm not going to say old school. Not as much as Shakespeare, but kind of along those lines. It's not really bad to understand. It just takes a little more brain power, and I just almost started getting a headache yesterday, so I had to put it down. This morning, I realized that I am quite a bit way through. I am on 239. And there's only about like 330 pages in the book. So, just to be sure, I'm going to double check because I could be, 334. I was close. So I'm literally at the tail end of everything. I'm going to try and finish this today. If I can, awesome. It's been really difficult, but at the same time, I have enjoyed the stories. They're just very monotone. They're telling it from like a storyteller's perspective. So you don't really get the thrill of, I did this, I went through this. It was just going through, telling it how it was. Which isn't bad. Some of the stories were just, fillers, I think. But the Alibaba one was interesting. The Sinbad stories were interesting. Those were some of my favorites. Learning some of the cultural differences back then. That was definitely interesting to learn. So far, it is nothing like the Disney version or the new version. It's nothing like those. It's definitely different. And that's one of the things that's been keeping me going as far as these stories are concerned. Because there's so many versions of the stories that we've heard. So many different retellings. And you just don't know what the original written one was. So it's been really nice reading the Arabian Nights and the different stories, because then it kind of sets things like, this is how it was supposed to be. They did this, they were told they did this. it's been nice. It's been a little boring, but like I said, the writing takes a lot of brain power, so I'm actually having to slow down and really digest what the page is saying, because the pages aren't very big and there's not much on the page. There's actually pictures all over the page. It's been really nice to have the pictures. I kind of like have an example on the page I'm reading right now. It's just, you know, little stuff like this most of the time. Sometimes they'll have a full page in color. That's cool. Where the genie came out and made himself known to Aladdin. That was a full page, a color page. But it's definitely definitely an experience. So I will continue reading this and let you guys know how I feel at the end of it. So I got my coffee. We're all good to go there. So the goal today is to finish Arabian Nights, and I will probably be throwing my dog's ball in between reading. So yeah. Ready? And go get it. This is all he does for hours. It just brings me back the ball and gets a little aggressive when I don't. Oh, Jesus. Like I said, he gets a little aggressive when I don't throw it. This is what we do while I read. Yeah. He takes his ball throwing very seriously. And sometimes Luna will come out of nowhere and jump him. Ready? Oh, I almost got it. By the way, for those of you who are wondering how I like my coffee, I only need to show you that. I don't have any creamer to put in it, so I do my husband's tactic and just put brown sugar in it, and it makes it a lot better. So, can't drink it black, don't drink it at all. At least that's what my dad used to say when he saw that I started drinking coffee. Okay, so it's been about an hour and a half, and yes, I was throwing the ball with Charlie for like an hour, so that lasted a while. So I finished up the Aladdin story, and I also went through 2 more stories after Aladdin. That's how many were pretty much from 280 all the way to 336. So 334, excuse me. The story is definitely different than any other story that I've heard. It ended very uniquely. I'm not gonna say it was story tradition. It was more, there's a lot of death, a lot of gore, A lot of dismemberment, smiting, stabbing, all that kind of stuff didn't exist yet. So overall, it's a lot of them were magical stories, sweeping away just the hint of that. The only mention of the carpet was actually in a different story where it was a part of three brothers fighting for an adopted daughter of the king that they were all fighting for. Yeah, it was like a telescope, not a telescope. Was it a telescope? Yeah, so a telescope, a rug, and an apple. So they each had different properties, and they wanted to see who was the best gift to bring for the daughter. That's the only mention of the carpet in here. As far as the lamp, there were actually two in that story. One with a ring and one with a lamp. So that was definitely different. Not only just entertaining, just learning the stories for the first time, but the writing wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, because they put Open Sesame on the back. That story was in here too, the Tale of the 40 Thieves. A lot gorier than I thought it was, actually. So that was different too. I'd say, like, I'm going to have my last thoughts on it. You see somebody? Nice. It's not one of the best stories I've read all year, but it definitely wasn't one of the worst. I've had a lot worse this year. Obviously, I tried reading Vampire Diaries and I only made it 2.5 of the chapters of the way through. Overall, I'm very happy with this. Charlie, stop for 10 more seconds. Overall, I'm very happy with this, and now I get to either move on to my Anna Blakely choice, or I get to start Sisters Under the Sun or The Ballad of Sunburned Mistakes. Both of those, I'm going to have to read off of Audible, so more than likely, I'm going to save reading those during work. So it's either going to be The Pilot's Daughter that I have to read for my Goodreads choice, or Anna Blakely. I need a good short read before I start reading something big again, because both of those books are pretty decently sized. So, yeah, I think we're going to start with Anna Blakely. Okay, so we're at chapter 6 right now. So it starts off literally in the middle of a fight scene. Olivia, she was in Madagascar helping with something that happened, disaster. So they took a medical team over to Madagascar and their group got attacked. So word gets back to where Jake is, because he's the other POV in this. It's one of those tropes where it's the best friend's sister that he secretly loves but didn't really tell her until apparently this shit's gonna happen. So, I'm on chapter 6 and I'm probably gonna finish this today because it's that good. Taking a Risk is a military operated romance. So, this is definitely a first for me. Considering it's from Anna Blakely, I didn't expect any less. I'm really into it. I'm only on chapter 6 and I want to finish the whole thing today. Like, it may have started you off in the middle of everything, but you get the characters, what they look like, you get the premise of everything. So, he doesn't believe that she's dead, and even if she was dead, he's like, I just want to get the bastard for killing her. And I'm living for this. I haven't read one like this before, but I love all the action so far. So I'm about halfway through at this point. I'm on chapter 12, and I'm pretty dang sure that I'm going to finish this today. It's a little bit of a slow burn. The banter between them is like, it's heart-wrenching and it's aggravating, but at the same time, you're just like, I need to find out how this ends. So far, I am loving this. I am so glad that she recommended this to me because I'm loving it. And I do intend on finishing this today, so depending on how far we get, I will let you guys know. Either I stop tonight or finish whichever comes first. Okay, so it is literally about 5:15 at night. So I've been reading almost all day. And I just finished Taking a Risk. We left off on a cliffhanger. That is so not fair. Because God knows how long it's going to be until I get a hold of the second one. With everything that's happened. Oh yeah, this is my Kindle, by the way. It's a little bit, it was so funny because all the banter was hilarious, in my opinion. Because all the pining, and Olivia was the girl he never got to have, and when she got killed, he completely fell apart and was like, I'm going after these bastards. Kept getting interrupted. It's hilarious, in my opinion. It was so funny, but the action was awesome. I loved everything that happened in here. I'm not really a military person, and this is technically not military. It's like a special ops type of story. So it was an experience. It's something new, and I really, really enjoyed it. I am 100% glad that she gave this to me. I fully intend on reading the rest of this series just so I can figure out what happens, because the cliffhanger at the end was like, I know, right? And Charlie's looking at me. He's like, you're still supposed to be throwing the ball. I was throwing the ball like most of the day today. Yeah, and he still wants me to do it more. So, but that's okay. We'll do that later. I absolutely love this, and if I was to rate it right now, I'd say it's like a 4.5 right now. Just because I hate the fact that I have to read 2 books to find out what happens. But it roped me in. Obviously, I read it in a couple of hours. That went by really, really, really fast. I haven't read a book like that in a long time. So as of right now, I have used so much brain power today that it's not even funny. Well, I'm done. 2 books is definitely enough for me for the weekend. Tomorrow, I go back to work. I do have 2 Audible credits that I can use. So I plan on using both of them to read Sisters Under the Rising Sun and Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I can read both of those on Audible. So I'll be doing that next week if I can. If I get through one, that's fine. I am still not even in the middle of November yet, and I've already buckled down half of my TBR, which to me is impressive because it's been a while since I've done that. Hi. I know you want me to play the ball. He still wants me to throw. Okay, just so you can get out of my business. We're gonna see if I can get through the Audible with those 2, but The Pilot's Daughter I'm gonna have to find on here real quick, and I'm just gonna add it. So for the following weekend, I can read that on Saturday and Sunday. I can read that whenever I feel like it, or in between me doing things. The other 2 we'll definitely see because they're both bigger books. The rest of them were kind of fast-paced. The only one that wasn't was Aladdin, and I had been reading that since the start of November. So we shall see what we can get done this week, but my brain is definitely done today. I have done so much reading. Finishing Aladdin, which was almost 100 pages, and then I read 247. Anna Blakely's Taking a Risk. So I've read almost 300 pages today. That is absolutely ridiculous. I have not done that in a very long time. So we will see what I can get through this week, and we are going to spend the rest of the afternoon hanging out. Okay, so I did not do a video this morning because I looked rough, so I wasn't going to film that. Going forward with what we had yesterday. So yesterday was a very, very long day. So I finished Aladdin and the Arabian Nights, and I started and finished Taking a Risk, the first one in the series of Risk. I wouldn't say I loved the Aladdin and the Arabian Nights. I did enjoy it. I did love Taking a Risk Part 1. I did really enjoy that. That means overall, I have gotten 4 books done, and it's only the 11th. This is the fastest I have read a TBR in a very long time. It's been a hot minute since I've been able to read that many books. Granted, I did D and F one, so that did cut my time a little short. But considering how fast I've been going through these, I may even have time for an extra one, or to start reading either Court of Thorns and Roses or Fourth Wing. I haven't decided yet. That is going to be a hard choice, because I want to read both, but I would say I would start with Fourth Wing first, just because it's a shorter series so far. Court of Thorns and Roses is like a dedication. So, I don't know. I honestly don't know yet. But going forward, I did start Sisters Under the Rising Sun this morning, right when I started work. I wouldn't say I've been loving it. I look at it from a historical aspect. 2 sisters, they board a ship. They're trying to flee Singapore. They're trying to get back to their home in Australia, and they're part of the nurse force. So they're trying to flee Singapore while it's being bombed, and they don't get very far when they get bombed as well, and they all get stranded and they get taken captive. So the women and the children are together. The men have been separated. Their view on everything that's happening so far, how they go about their daily lives being captives of the Japanese. It is very historical, and it's more informative than it is an actual story, if that makes sense. Okay guys, so I am on my lunch currently at the moment, and right before, about an hour before, I have finished up Sisters Under the Rising Sun. My last thoughts on this, and my thoughts in general, I don't know what it is. I honestly have rattled my brain, and I can't think of a single thing that made me not want to read it. I'm not saying that I didn't read it. I did read it. I read it all the way through. I listened to it on Audible. I think what did it, and I've been thinking about this since I ended the book, I'm like, why did I not like it as much as I did? Because it was a good story. I liked the historical aspect of the whole thing. They went through hell and back just learning how to survive. But I've read books like that before, and it grabbed me so much easier with other books. And I'm rattling my brain trying to figure out what it is that just made me go, eh. And I think I figured out what it is. I like the fact that they did it all. The whole story was over the span of 4 years. So they crunched it into 350 pages, which isn't bad. And they got the dates. They had it over the course of the time. The distance wasn't that bad. I think I know what did it. And it had nothing to do with the story plot line. I think it had everything to do with there were so many characters that you didn't really connect to really any of them. I didn't connect to anybody in particular. We kind of were just reading the stories as they were going, but at the same time, you weren't connecting to any of the actual characters. I think that was what did it. Because starting in the beginning, I didn't know who was who. By the end of it, I still didn't know who was who. So I think that's what did it with this book. I think that even in the beginning, they had a section where it was Vivian's little standpoint. I got that, 100%. I think we needed to have that aspect in this book. I think it needed to be split up with other girls' different points of view throughout the whole thing to understand more about who the character was. who they were attached to, who their best friends were, because the names jumbled my brain. It was way too many names, way too many girls. I mean, the list was in the back, and it was way more girls than I thought were in there. I think that's what did it for this story. Like I said, it had no fault of its own. It had no fault of its own. It was really good. It was an interesting story because I haven't read anything from an Australian aspect or Australian nurse aspect from that story. I did know that the Japanese were capturing people, but I didn't know that that was a whole group part of it. I didn't know about any of that. So that was definitely something that I'm glad I learned. However, I think it could have been executed differently, and it could have made it to that best-selling point because you didn't connect with the characters, you couldn't single somebody out, you couldn't latch yourself onto someone specific in a specific story, and I think that's what hurt the book, which explains why it's not as popular as the tattoos in Auschwitz. And not only that, but it is astronomically larger. I didn't DNF it, and I'm not giving it a low star. I'm giving it at least a 3 because I did finish it, and I give all the ones I finish at least a 3. This one ranges from a 3 to 3.5, which I think is where I'm going to settle, because we did have a point of view in the story that was singled out, and it was Vivian when she got separated from everybody else and she witnessed a horrible event. That was singled out. But you know what? I still retained it. I think that's what the story needed in order to be stronger. Overall, I'm glad I read it. It's my first Heather Morris book. I've heard a lot more about the tattooist in Auschwitz. I am looking forward to reading that one, not only that, because it's also shorter. So, the next one that I'm going to be getting into is, and I have it ready to go for a little bit later, after work, because I don't have an audio version, is The Pilot's Daughter. Hey guys, so it's a couple of days later. It's been a very interesting week this week, so I didn't get to film as much as I wanted to. So because of that, I'm going to update you guys real quick on what's been going on. So throughout the week, I was off and on The Pilot's Daughter. I didn't get to it as much as I wanted to. I loved it instantly. It was one of those thrillers that just, you get like 7 points of view from all different aspects of the story. We got someone who's in the government, we got someone who's on the plane, we got someone who's also on the plane, and then we have someone who's part of a company that's not on the plane, and his girlfriend that is on the plane. And then we also have one of the stewardess's perspectives, and then we have someone who's also works with the plane perspective. It's just so many different perspectives, but at the same time, you know who everybody is. I think only 2 names I confused, but they both start with A, so after reading for a minute, you kind of figure out who it is. But it was so good. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Once again, it was another thriller, but this one was an airplane thriller in like hypothetical hijacking situation. So another one of my worst fears, but at the same time, I absolutely loved it. I don't want to say anything to give it away, but with so many different perspectives, it added to the story so much, and I'm glad that she did that, and it was executed so well. This is my first one by Audrey J. Cole, and the rest of them are very similar situations. She's now one of my favorite authors. That's a hands down to me. That one was a 5-star, 100%. And I am looking forward to reading the rest of her books. I did get them on my to be read. So she's another author I have to look for. But she's one I've never heard of before. And I'm glad that I have a bunch that I gotta read. She does have a couple at my library, so I get to actually pick some up soon. So, moving forward with that, today I finally got a hold of my book page, so I gotta film my video for that. And in addition to that, I'm also gonna start Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That's the last one I have for my TBR. I'm nervous, but at the same time, I'm also excited because after I read this one, I get to watch the movie. Nick has already told me that once I finish the book, we'll watch the movie because he's been wanting to see it as well. He's just, like me, also been scared because the Hunger Games are really, really good. I'm just scared that this is either A, gonna mess it up, B, not have enough, or C, be nothing like the movie. So I do have a little bit of hope because they did do the Hunger Games justice in the movies. This is part of the reason why I love the movies so much, along with the books, is I don't have to read the books again because I can just watch the movie, so it saves me time. But I'm hoping that Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes will give me that same feeling, so I'm super excited. I have the audio book version. I got it off of Audible. They're the only ones that have it. None of my libraries have an audio version, not even a Kindle version, and none of the normal things that I read audiobooks off of, or the Kindle ones, nobody has them. It's weird. It's like none of the libraries have the digital versions of them. Some of them don't even have the actual book versions of them. So I'm lucky that I have my physical copy in case I wasn't able to listen to it, but I found it off of Audible. So that was just crazy to me. I'm surprised that none of my libraries have them. So definitely going to put in a request for that. But I'm going to get to that today. I do have some work I got to do today, but I do get to leave early because I have a concert to go to tonight. I am so excited. I'll probably post some of that a little later, but I'm so excited. Oh my god. Oh, my mother gave me tickets to go see Pink for our honeymoon, like gift, and that was my stepfather's idea. I love them so much. If I talk any more about it, I'm gonna cry, so I'm gonna stop. So, I'm looking forward to doing that tonight, which means that I won't be getting as much reading as I planned tonight. I'm gonna play catch up tomorrow because I did schedule myself to be coming in late tomorrow so that I won't be jet lagged by the concert. So we are gonna start that today. Hey guys, so we are about a week away from Thanksgiving. God, I'm tired. I was up till midnight last night because those of you who do not have a lot of money at this time of year, I did figure out a very, very money-saving technique. So my Walmart has 88 cents a pound turkeys going on right now. So it cost me, for a 13-pound turkey, it cost me about $12. It was really, really awesome. And I got 2 of them. So I'm not saving them for Thanksgiving. I'm actually going to be using them in a very money-saving way. It cost almost $10 for me to get the non-skinned chicken thighs, bone-in chicken thighs. So skin-on, bone-in chicken thighs are about $10. This cost me $13 for a whole turkey. So am I going to do the work all night to save on pretty much weeks of work? Yep. So I did that last night. I cooked my first turkey, and it actually was a success. I didn't burn it. I didn't undercook it. I made sure I didn't undercook it. Yeah, so I'm very tired today. So for those of you who are looking for a money saver right now, because I know a lot of people are like me and scraping and saving for whatever they can get, do that. Get them pretty much as many turkeys as you can fit in your freezer. I unfortunately can only fit 1, but it's gonna save us literally months of buying meat, because I have to go rip it apart, and I'm gonna do like a couple of things. I know Nick likes turkey legs, so I'm gonna save those separately in case he wants one. things like that. But it's been a couple of days since I've read anything. Ballad of Sunbursts and Snakes is really good so far. I got to 165 last time I listened to the audio. So today we're gonna work, because I gotta work on my computer today, because I have to go to work today. We are gonna listen to the audiobook and see how far we can get today. I do have a couple of things that I have to do on my lunch and this afternoon, so I wanted to get this out of the way without having it interfere with the things I have to do. The main reason why I'm filming today is because I got something in the mail that I said I wasn't getting again. It came out of my account because it wanted to. No, I just forgot to cancel it. It sucks how that happens, but at the same time you're like, I can't complain. So when it took itself out of my bank account, I'm like, fine. It's already paid for. I might as well get a book. So that's what I did, and we're gonna open it up today. I have not opened it, so I have no idea what condition it's in. I have no idea. I don't even remember what I got. So we're gonna open it up real quick. Where is it? I said I wasn't gonna get these anymore, but at the same time, it's been very hard finding a subscription that gives you these kind of books that are in these conditions, like in awesome conditions. I'm trying to use my pen to open this, and this is not working very well. Alright, so my book of the month. Now I remember. Yeah. I haven't had one of these bookmarks in a long time. But they always send you a little bookmark, which I always think is cool. Sometimes during Christmas time, they'll send you stickers. But this month, I went with Dirty Diana by Jen Besser and Shanna Esty. So, she's skinny. She's skinnier than I thought she was going to be. But to me, I read the premise of all of them. This is the only one that I determined that I would actually read anytime soon. Because for those of you who had Book of the Month, you probably did read the premise of it. Let's see. So Diana Wood has a job she likes and a husband, Oliver, she loves. They have a daughter they adore. Diana and Oliver spend all their time together, even work in the same office. They're married in love, which isn't exactly the same as love, but it's fine. Or is it? Is it fine enough? Diana and Oliver hadn't had sex in months, and their intimacy seems more like a memory than a reality. The cozy tappings of Diana's life in Dallas, Texas have become ever more confining. She is restless, growing more distant from Oliver day by day. So she's going to take a trip and go and kind of go have some fun. Yeah, that was my book of the month. None of the other ones really seemed interesting to me. There was one other one that I was torn between, but I am glad I got this one. I haven't had a good, literacy pick in a month. So, but yeah, it's a lot skinnier than I thought it was going to be. This may be a pretty easy read when I get around to it. But it's going to go on my shelf with the rest of the books a month I have to read. I'm going to be on Audible today. I'm going through... Dude, I cannot speak today. My brain is so lagged. God. So, Ballad of Sunbursts and Snakes, I want to finish this week so that I can start my new book that actually you guys picked for me. On my Instagram, I posted last week on my YouTube and my Instagram, actually, for those who think that I should either read Fourth Wing or Court of Thorns and Roses first. She was the winner. So, Court of Thorns and Roses is my next read. I get to start that series. I get to see why everybody loves it. I get to see why people loved Sarah J. Maas. I know my sisters recommended Throne of Glass to me 100 times, and that is on my to-be list as well, but I only have Fourth Wing and Court of Thorns and Roses on this shelf right here, so we're going to just go with that. I have been looking forward to reading both of those for a long time. I just could not make up my mind of which one to read first, and you guys thankfully answered that for me, so I don't have to worry about it. But I am looking forward to reading it. Finally, I can get that from my library, so that'll be an easy either ebook or audio, whichever I prefer, thankfully. And I'm gonna use my Kindle for that. I want to try and finish Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes so that I can start that. We're already done with my November TBR. Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is the last one that I need to do for this month, and I killed the rest of them. I had to return one of them. I had to return Night Watching in the Library, but I'll still have that up for you guys when the time comes for that. But that is the fastest I have ever read a TBR in a month, let alone read all of them. So I don't know what it is, but it was either the picks or the fact that I DNF'd one. I don't know. But I'm still happy. Okay, little update. I have gotten to so we're in chapter 24, and that's a good 365 pages through, and I got like 1 minute left of work. Work ended. Okay. My work literally just ended, so I'm able to film this like literally as I'm signing off. But I just got to a point in the book. Oh my god. This is, my head's starting to turn with all the possibilities of how this is going to go from here, because I hit a crucial part in the story where it's like, oh my god. Oh my god. It's crazy. When you've seen all 3 movies, you've read all 3 books, you know that this is a big step in this story. And I don't want to spoil it because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But the book so far has been really, really awesome. Going through, Coriolanus and his story and Lucy Gray's story as well. We've just gotten Coriolanus' perspective. I must say, though, compared to the first 3 Hunger Games, it is very different compared to how we've given Katniss's perspective in the Hunger Games versus Coriolanus's from outside of the games, if that makes sense. It's, instead of being in like that hunt mode, you're behind the scenes, and that is something that is actually really fresh, and it's something very fresh that she brought to the series, is an outside perspective of going into the Hunger Games rather than just figuring out what's going on in the Hunger Games. I'm going to keep going. I have 3 hours left in this. I want to try and finish this today. If I can, I will. So I will let you guys know if I finish it or not. Okay, so I need to catch you guys up the last 20 hours because a lot has happened since then. So I went through and I listened to all of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and even a few hours after work. Love it. Absolutely loved it. We were not able to watch it last night, which was what my plan was, which is why I finished it so quick, because I want to see the movie. Apparently, no subscription has it except for Prime, and you have to pay $6 to rent the damn thing. So, we went a different route. I ordered it from my library. It is in the library, so I did reserve it for myself. So hopefully that'll get done today, and I can go pick it up this afternoon and we can watch it tonight. That would be the ideal situation. If not, then it'll be tomorrow, because movies travel fast. So I'm not worried about that. So we get to watch it tonight, thankfully, because it's first thing in the morning the next day. I did, for those of you who have my Instagram, I did post on there on my story that I finally started A Court of Thorns and Roses. I think I got to page 16 or middle of chapter 4. So many people are gonna hate me for this. So many people are gonna hate me for this. But the best way I can describe it, and the best reason why I'm very hesitant to tell you guys, is because I did not like it. And I didn't like it. And please let me know if this isn't just this book or if it's all of them. Because I would like to know if it's just this one or if it is all of them. I felt like so much of it was unnecessary banter. And what I mean by that is, when I was reading, and I have never done with this with a young adult book, or now an adult fantasy book before. I only have done this with classics, and in the alternative as I go to the audio version. So I felt like a lot of the paragraphs I just skipped. And I have never done that. Not with this kind of a book before. So the fact that I was skipping paragraphs, the fact that I would go through, read literally the entire page, and realize that I skipped half of the paragraphs and went straight to the dialogue, showed me that it's either A, unnecessary, because sometimes I would go back and be like, why did we add that? That's like something you could put in like a whole dialogue section afterward. It's nothing to do with the story. It has nothing to do with it. I think it is a very interesting story. It's just the writing, so many unnecessary words. It's hard because I do want to love it. I want to love it. So I've come to the determination I'm going to give it 100 pages. So far, I've only gotten to chapter 4, which I think is like only 30-something pages. I'm going to give it 100 pages. And if I still feel the same way, like I'm forcing myself to read this, I am forcing myself to backtrack and actually read through everything, then I'm going to quit. Just giving you guys a heads up about that. I'm not feeling confident about this. But if it does change and there starts to be more dialogue and less talking about certain things and backtracking and doing all that, if there's less of that, and please let me know if the rest of the books are the same way, then it's just going to stop. Because I'm not going to waste my time reading something that I'm not enjoying. And so far, I'm not enjoying it. I feel like it's a chore. So, I'm going to go through. I got a few minutes before work, so I can do that, and I can let you guys know what I think. I really want to like this book. I feel like it's funny when you get the recommendations from subscribers to do the same thing as you. Like, I get so many people who rave about this, especially from Larry Reed's and one other lady here. I do not remember her YouTube name at the time, but I will include it in here, right here. I feel like I'm letting them down in a way. I know we shouldn't feel like that because we each have our own little opinion and we have our own views of how we view things. It's just, you feel like that when you get them from, bigger people. You feel like you're letting them down a little bit, but we're going to give it a try. Okay, so I finally got to page 100 in The Court of Thorns and Roses. I decided that it's good enough for me to keep reading. It did pick up after like the 7th chapter, which is pretty much what I was hoping for. I was hoping it would pick up and start getting more dialogue and getting more action-y, and it did. So I am going to attempt to finish the rest of the book, and we'll see how I feel either in between where I stop, or if I do finish it, I will give my final thoughts at the end. So we'll see. It's 2 days later from me starting ACOTAR, and I want to apologize. I want to apologize to every single person who I worried. To every person, I apologize for worrying you that I wasn't gonna read this. I am on page 302, and my notion still stands. The beginning could have been a whole lot better. It could have been so much better. Executed very differently. But once you got past page, I think it was 60? Either 60 or 70. Nick's talking in the background, so if you hear that, just ignore him. Yeah. Perk of having a gamer husband. Woohoo. So, I am loving it. I am absolutely loving it. I did not think I was going to love it as much as I do. It is basically a Beauty and the Beast retelling with Fae. That's pretty much what it is. It's a Beauty and the Beast retelling of Fae with a girl named Farah. Oh my god. I understand now what all the hype's about. I definitely 100% understand now. Because my thing is not focusing today. It's horrible. There we go. Okay. But, oh my god. This is such a hard time focusing today. Oh my god. I have to turn. Hang on. Okay, so we were not focusing, so I had to adjust. So, I am absolutely loving this. I fell in love. Oh my god. I completely fell in love with this. I already got the second book from the library today. I did do a small library haul, and I have a whole bunch of new books because I do have an idea for a video that I want to do for December to kind of open it up for the new year and what I think I should read. So I did that today, and I did get A Court of Mist and Fury while I was at the library because I am about 75% sure that I will want to finish the second book. This is all going to depend on how the rest of the rest of the book ends, and we'll go from there. But overall, I am loving the first book of ACOTAR. I have to admit, though, I didn't think that Beauty and the Beast retelling with Fairy would be good, if that makes sense. I thought it would be very cliche, like how it was in the beginning. I kind of anticipated that for the whole book. And once I got past page 50 and actually started getting further into the story, I loved it so much better. I did a lot of stuff today. I went to the store, I went to the library, I went and did a couple other things so that I would not have to leave the house tomorrow. So I'm going to see how much I can read tonight. Like I said, I'm on page 302. I have 150 pages left to read of this book. And we will determine how much I can read tonight. What I don't finish today, I will definitely finish tomorrow. We did, didn't we? We're going to do something different. Yeah. No, it doesn't include you yet. We are going to get to that, though. You want to be a part of a video? Do you want to be in a video? Huh? Yeah? Yeah, I'll take that as a yes. Anyway, so I have... That is too funny. So, I have a couple ideas for videos. I can't wait to bring them to you guys, and I just came up with them today, so I have to execute them. But I'm trying not to do what I did last time, multiple videos in 1 week. I'm not going to do that this time, so. Holy crap. Okay. Oh my god. Looking through everything, that I just went through the last 3 days. And that's about how long it took me to finish the book. I wanted, as of page 200, to continue reading through the whole dang thing in one sitting. It just, my brain didn't want to do that night. Yeah, last night I tried staying up and finishing the book. It didn't happen. I got through a part in the book and my brain just went, okay, you're done. Oh my god. Everything got so crazy. Mama went cuckoo. She went cuckoo. So, my original statement still stands. I think that the beginning could have been a lot better. I think that it could have been executed differently to hook the reader's attention, to make sure that they didn't DNF it. Because once you get past page 50, and I specifically did this, once you get past page 54, it gets so much better. Yes, it does. It gets so much better. So much better. I can tell why people have been raving about it. It's very... She's going like this. She's slowly doing it, and then she just goes like this. So, I got hooked when we started hanging out at the castle and everything. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I got hooked when we started hanging around the castle, finding things to do, all this other stuff. That's when it hooks you in and starts getting a little more action-y. But, oh my god. I already have it on my list to get the second one, and actually I have it. Luna wants in too. Give me a second. My children want to be around me, so she was begging to be let in. So, oh my god. I already have the second book lined up. I even have it here with me. I had to get it from the library the other day. I was already there to get some movies, and I'm like, it's here, so I'm going to take it. Yeah, it's a lot more thicker than the first one. But that's okay. It's okay. Because I hope this time to actually listen to it instead of reading it, but if I gotta read it, then... So I have that ready, and so I've been thinking of what to do for my next month, and to be honest, I don't want to do the jar, I don't want to do a game, I don't want to do any of the stuff I've been doing. I have a very interesting idea. It's gonna kill me. It's gonna kill me to do this. But I think that you guys are gonna like it, and we'll see. I'm not gonna reveal it until a little bit after this video. I'm gonna make my wrap-up video, and then we're gonna get into December. So I have a lot of editing to do with this. I have officially bypassed, as of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, my Goodreads limit. And what I mean by that is I, did my reading for the year. I had a 55 out of 55. This book, Court of Thorns and Roses, made 56 out of 55, and December is just anything extra. So I don't have a time limit anymore, which means I get to either take my time, figure out what I want to do for the new year, if I want to do a plan for the new year. There's a lot of thinking I gotta do for this. Everything's starting to calm down life-wise, so I can start focusing more and more on things. Hang on. I'm trying not to give away my idea because it'll kind of just ruin it for you guys, and I don't want to do that. But, oh my god. This has definitely been a very successful month. I have finished 8 books when I started out with 7, DNF'd 1, and read an extra one. The ACOTAR series, I could definitely see where all the hype is coming from. The beginning, like I said, could have been handled differently. I would have probably given it a 5-star. Because of the beginning, I am docking it a full star. The middle and the ending kind of redeemed itself, so it's going to be sticking at a 4 for me. So that's the overall rating that I gave ACOTAR. Hey guys, so it's the following morning for when I'm actually going to post this, and I realized that I didn't film an outro. I wanted to thank you guys for going on this journey with me this month. I am so happy with everything I have read. I went through my whole TBR. I even got to read an extra book. I have read more this month than I have in a long time. And not just because I wanted to read them, it was because some of them were your guys' recommendations. I am so happy with this month, and I wanted to thank you guys for going on this journey with me, going through all these books with me, and it's been amazing. It's been really awesome to do these kind of videos. It kind of keeps me sane and keeps me motivated when I do these videos, and I actually stick with it. I really do. I try to get on as much as I do, but sometimes life gets in the way. And we're not always available to film every second of our lives. So, I really enjoyed doing this with you guys this month. I really enjoyed doing it this month, and I wanted to thank you guys for bearing with me. If you guys made it to the end of this video, I appreciate it. You guys just witnessed that, right? Yeah. So, I think she wants to say hi. She wants attention, so. The attention's not on you. I need you to stop, please. Anyway. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this video. And if you guys made it to the end, I appreciate you so much. Let me know if you guys did. If you guys are looking forward to hearing my end reviews, my final thoughts, I will be having that video next. I appreciate each and every one of you. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And I am going to go edit today instead of reading.